Hi sweeties, how are you doing? Welcome to Naya Scene, and thank you all so much for all the love and support. Hope you all are doing great. So today we'll be talking something very important, and I really do not know who started with this trend that it's really crazy how people come out to start some certain things about that black people are doing, that it's not like kind of demean hood people and trying to make them look like they are evil and all that. People coming out to say that they are not safe with black people, especially the ones in the hood, that when you are around them, it's either you are being conscious of your bag, your this and that, because you don't know what it's going to happen, that they might steal from you or take anything from you, and that they have nasty attitude and all that. But when you are done watching this video, you are going to see this person that spoke about this, and you definitely will understand that she is the person with a nasty attitude, because somebody that came out to say all this and then talk down on her own community about hood and not being from hood. Probably she was raised in suburban, and for that reason she thinks that people in the hood are her problem. It's really very disgusting. And please, we are tired of all this drama you all put up for likes and clicks and trying to make black people look like they are the problem when you personally, you are the problem. Let's get into this.
Who came up with this hood trend that's going around on TikTok? You know, these videos that black people are doing that pretty much demean hood people. Have y'all seen it? Here's one of the videos that I came across.
So I seen this girl make a post earlier where she was like, I'm not afraid to admit hood people scare me. Now, although that may trigger some people, y'all have to understand some of us are just genuinely traumatized. Now, I didn't grow up in the hood, but I worked in the hood. And when I tell y'all, that was one of the most miserable experiences of my entire life. You could not look at them wrong. They wanted to fight. You could not be quiet. If you were quiet, it's you think you're all that. You think you're better than us. It's so bad. I was washing my hair today, and I got flashbacks of when they used to tease me and try and call me broke because I was not wearing a lace wig. Like, they just say the most uneducated, ignorant stuff I've ever heard in my life. I'm broke because I want to wear my natural hair that God blessed me with. And because I'm not gluing something to a nasty, stinking stocking cap every 5 seconds, that mean I'm broke. Like, the energy is just so miserable and negative. And even when they're trying to be nice, it's still in a weird way. It's like they're either trying to use you or benefit from you or get up under you to learn your business. I don't get that feeling from my friends now. Like, if they want to hang out, I know they genuinely care about me and they want to hang out. Not because they're trying to gather tea on me to tell somebody else. Around hood people, you don't feel safe. You feel like you have to watch your purse, watch your belongings. You have to watch your bag. And I remember when I used to go just walk inside of the gas station and a car full of hood girls would just laugh and talk trash. And it's like, you don't even know me. You're just random people on the street. You're just so ignorant. It's just always negativity. They're always down to fight. They're always loud. They're always like, ew. Like, I'm so glad that Tampa is so segregated and I don't have to go on that side of town. And I know that sounds terrible, but like a lot of things I'm just so traumatized by. I do not get along with hood chicks at all. I could probably count 0. I can't think of one person that is hood and I've actually like gotten along with them and they were nice and they were sweet and they weren't trying to use me and they never talked about me like a dog. Like, I can't think of not one person. I can't. When people show you who they are, believe them.
I'm a firm believer in when people show you who they are, believe them. And you've shown us that you are a tool for white supremacy. Did you do this for the attention? Because, girl, you got it. And I hope you continue to get all of the attention that you were seeking for as long as you have your account on TikTok. Every stereotype that's rooted in racism and spewed by racists, you hit. It sounds like you mad. They didn't let you in the club. Is that what it is? They didn't let you in the club. And then you get the backlash that you're looking for. And now you mad. You like real mad. You posted this. It might cut it off at the top for y'all. Let me read it. Hoodlums and their negative stink energy will really bring out the worst in you. Girl, you were a nasty person from the jump. Your personality screams unlikable. Your personality screams nasty. Nobody brought that out of you. You wear that proudly. I don't even argue in real life. It's always an issue with some miserable gutter bug hating on social media. Girl, your whole video was full of hate. Your whole video. And then you go on to do this video.
Girl, you're one of those women who leveled up and now trying to people, girl, please. This ain't hard to achieve. You just found a colorist man. I could get a larger bed with a European man. Period, pool, pasta, and lobster. First of all, nobody in the real world talks like that. You will never get any type of high-value man to marry you or take you seriously talking like that. The most you'll get is a couple of dollars in a hotel room. Because that is all you sound like you're worth. People in the real world where things actually matter don't talk like that. Second, as far as a European man goes, been there, done that. I don't know why you hood rats seem to think European men are some type of trophy or savior. Maybe because you're in survival mode and you're trying to get out of the slums that you're in, so you see another race to help you and do what your own father couldn't do. But my father was in my life, and he was a great black man, and I wanted a black man who reminded me exactly like my father. You are in survival mode. I'm not. I can get money out of any man. I don't need to run to another race because the men in my own race don't want me. Third, if it was that easy and that achievable, how come you don't have it?
For someone that's trying to present herself as she's so much more above people in the hood, girls or women in the hood, she definitely knows how to do that hood speak. I live in the hood. None of these people in the hood scare me. You know who scare me? Racist, mass murderers like Dylan Roof scare me. MAGA nuts scare me. Because MAGA nuts don't care if you believe you're above hood people. They will murder you too. White supremacist terrorist groups like the Proud Boys scare me because they don't care if you believe you're above hood people. They will murder you too because you got the right skin tone. No matter how light-skinned you are and no matter how above you feel you are of hood people, this man gonna put you to work. You'll be in the big house. This man, Stephen Miller, yeah, he just might make you his slave. Yeah. Stephen Miller, this man scares me. Or this man, Christopher Rufo, yeah, he just might make you his child bearer. This man scares me. This MAGA nutcase right here, she scares me. She's the one that's gonna whoop you every single day just because you're a black woman. These people scare me because these people are the ones who are going to implement the laws that's going to either make you a child bearer or you'll be in the big house working in the kitchen. These are the ones that's going to implement those laws. These people scare me. This man, terrified of him. And all of the white men that surround him, they are also going to implement those laws that's going to put you in the kitchen in the big house or make you the child bearer for one of those other white supremacists. And this man right here, I'm terrified. Because if he gets back into the White House, this man will make it happen from now until eternity. Yeah, you and all of your babies and their babies. He's going to make sure that y'all are working in the big house, or y'all are child bearers. So you keep thinking that it's hood people that you should be afraid of. You keep thinking that you're better than hood people. These people are going to show you that it really doesn't matter what you think. You have a good day. I hope you get all of the attention that you are looking for.
In regards to the whole, oh, I'm so scared of the hoods, I'm so scared of black ghetto ratchet people, oh, they're so loud and dangerous. I am curious to know how many of the people who believe that, the black people with the internalized anti-blackness, aren't just black Americans who are uppity, but also non-black Americans. And stay with me. And how many of those, because I'm learning some things, are black Americans who view black immigrants in a certain way. I'm what I like to call hood adjacent. Okay, the comedian James Davis had a show on Comedy Central for one season where he talked about being hood adjacent in South Central LA. I'm from Long Beach, okay? Southern California is a very hood adjacent place. All right, Long Beach, Compton, Carson, Inglewood, Crenshaw, South Central LA. It's like pretty much everywhere, but like nowhere sometimes. Like you could just turn a corner, drive down a certain street, and you're like, oh, I'm in this territory. You might not live in the hood, but you might go to school in the hood, or you might live in the hood, but you might not go to school in the hood, or you might have friends in the hood, or family in the hood, or you go to your sporting events in the hood, or you might not literally, your street might not literally be in the hood, but across the street might be a territory. Sometimes you move, sometimes you live in the hood in one part of life, and then you move, or sometimes both parents aren't together, so one parent might live in the hood and the other parent might not. I thought everybody grew up living like that. So for me personally, I feel more comfortable in areas like that, whether at home or whenever I move somewhere. That's where, in my experience, majority of the black and brown people are. Better community, better resources, everyone looking out for each other, better food, better music, better parties. Now, all that being said, if you include specific stereotypes against black Americans and then black immigrants, I think this goes beyond just a classism thing, because I've heard and seen a lot of non-black Americans say those stereotypes about black Americans in the same socioeconomic class, because people bring up, oh, well, you know, there's the black immigrants who live in these areas, and they will still hold on to those stereotypes against black Americans. And on the flip side, I've learned, and now that I can recall, there are black Americans who will look at black immigrants as like, oh, they're more violent, they're poor, they're taking up space and jobs. Are we not seeing it's a very specific anti-black othering that isn't specifically based on class? That's why, yes, it is class, but these things intersect. So if you throw in the politics of navigating the hood, the projects, a territory, and knowledge and or familiarity in making you feel a little more comfortable in those spaces, right? While keeping in mind the active white supremacist anti-black othering of other black ethnicities as they're either moving into your neighborhood and or you're moving to their neighborhood, it is a breeding ground for this very specific diasporic classist anti-blackness. And I just don't think you can have a conversation about anti-blackness in regards to hoods and black people being ghetto, loud, ratchet, dangerous, and not include that rhetoric is very specific to black American anti-black stereotypes, and how those anti-black American stereotypes affect relationships between black Americans and black immigrants, even within the same socioeconomic class. That's my 2 cents, because I feel like if we're gonna attack anti-blackness, attack it from all angles. Okay, and a lot of these things intersect, and we can't be afraid to look at every single intersection and be like, oh no, this doesn't apply here, baby. I promise you, it almost applies everywhere.
This trend of suburban black people talking about how uncomfortable and unsafe they feel around hood black people is obviously internalized anti-blackness and not surprising, but I want to explain why hood black people should actually be afraid of suburban black people, not the other way around. So I came from a very wealthy private school that was predominantly white and entered into a black underfunded high school because my parents could no longer afford tuition even though I was on scholarship. When I entered that predominantly black environment after coming from a predominantly white environment, I too was uncomfortable. But what I learned is that those black people that existed in that predominantly black environment were not a threat to me as another black person, But I, as another black person, was a threat to them because the administration of the school was trying to protect me and create an environment for me where I felt safe because of my educational background and privileges and access to wealth that I previously had. You see? So my proximity to whiteness, my proximity to wealth, and my educational background put me in a position of privilege where the white administration of the school was doing everything to protect me and also degrade the black students that were in the other black students that were in the school that did not have access to those privileges. So if a black student that was hood made me feel uncomfortable or threatened, they were removed from the classroom. If a black student that was hood said something offensive to me, there were repercussions, right? So yeah, I was called an Oreo. Yeah, I was made fun of for being a nerd. But at the end of the day, I was the one that was preventing a lot of these students from getting the education that they needed, because if anything that they did made me uncomfortable, they could be removed from the classroom. Like, it was always a power imbalance between me and them, and it never created an environment that was conducive to community and understanding between us, because the white faculty did not want that to happen. They didn't want me to empathize with other black students. They wanted to separate me and put me in a classroom with predominantly white and Latino students that were on my level. Now that's on a school scale, but on a larger scale, do you see the parallels? Suburban black people are coming on here saying that they will feel 100% compelled to call the cops if they feel unsafe around a hood black person, weaponizing their position of power, usually with access to wealth, to subjugate other black people, to incarcerate other black people. Like, it's very much so that suburban black people coming into spaces with their privilege and their proximity to whiteness and wealth, making other black people, validly so, uncomfortable and unsafe because of their internalized anti-blackness. So yeah, this used to be me. I used to look like this. I used to be very, very, very much under a lot of the same beliefs that these people have when I was a kid, like, you know, a preteen, but I grew out of that. And the fact that you guys are in your 30s, in your 20s, propagating anti-black beliefs, it's embarrassing. It's actually embarrassing. This trend of suburban black people talking about how uncomfortable and unsafe they feel around hood.
Let me ask some of y'all on this content. How many of y'all have family members who live in suburban areas and they were once living in the hood? And let's say they educated themselves or they furthered and they received more money and revenue and assessments that they were able enough to live in the suburban. 9 times of the time, they're trying to blend in with the Joneses. Even though the Joneses don't want them, and even if they can't be like the Joneses, they're going to do it. Or, you know, they're going to put it where the shoe is. You understand what I'm saying? And moving right along, they going to start coming to, let's say if they do come around, they're going to give you a skin look, a skin teeth, and try to correct how the way you talk, the way you act, the way you this, and way you that. But 9 cents of the time, you're being comfortable because you're in your element. They pretty much are not, because they're trying their best to be a part of that clique or that elite, because they feel like that is the normal way of speaking and talking in this way. Like the hair cannot be too afro, it cannot be pro-black, it has to be straight, you know, and all that stuff. And yeah, you can have a little contacts to brighten up your eyes to make it look like you had hazel green eyes. And you're not going to have the 9-inch nails. You're going to have the short little manicure tips, French tips, and even your pedicure too. And you're not going to have the nose rings and all that stuff, or the tattoos. And if you do, you're going to camouflage it. And you're going to start talking very proper, using grammar. Who knows? You're probably going to the Webster Dictionary and start studying all these words and using the sentences and everything and so forth. 9/10 of the time, those suburban people are so unhappy. When they talk about they don't want to be around the hood people, they don't want to be around that, half of them end up being sex predators, doing a lot of rituals and doing all kinds of things things that's untangible, if you know what I'm talking about. Their life is so unhappy. You know, so when they come around the hood, it's like we're giving them the flavor to their so-called blended sauce, okay? And they are the same ones that say they don't want to be around hood people. But guess what? They will do anything they can to take notes, though, okay? Because they need us to be a punchline when they're around their suburban friends and make jokes, you know, to make themselves feel special. But 9/10 of the time, they're so damn boring, okay? Their life is so boring. They do boring things, and those are the ones who end up taking cocaine, drinking, you know, and doing all kinds of things to kind of harm themselves. And those are the ones, because the suburbians are not that perfect. Those are the ones that be swinging, doing swing parties, go into the go to a party and drop it in the keys, and then turn around and switch and then go to those parties. The suburbians is not all that, okay? I used to live in the suburban, and I used to see a lot of stranger things, if you know what I'm talking about. I used to see how one husband was a peeping Tom, and every time the wife is noticing he's watching somebody's window. I have seen one husband that used to be a drunk come home every day and drink, and then come to find out he liked to touch young girls, okay? I remember when one suburban husband who was dedicated with his job, but meanwhile he was sleeping with Suzanne around the corner. And then everybody used to say that Suzanne was trash, but guess what? Every husband was sleeping with her around the corner. And then moving along, all the little tismits and stuff, trust me, their life is ghetto that you can possibly think. The only difference is they try to sugarcoat it, all right? And sometimes, let's say, for example, the house that's further down the street, the wife, she's always talking about, oh, you guys need to go to church when Halloween comes. She give the kids them little programs and little messages and even a Bible instead of them giving them trick-or-treat candy. But guess what? The husband's he's beating her like Mike Tyson, okay? And he beating because he came from Newark, okay? And he beating her like Mike Tyson. And she can't say nothing to him because she's like the woman from the Diary of a Mad Black Woman because he's a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? Don't believe the hype with them. Let them go on that train and talk about they want to live a suburban life and they don't want to be around ghetto people because guess what? Their life is boring, okay? They need some excitement in their life. They need sugar in their life, like probably even sugar in it, you know what. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, they do some stranger things, okay? And anybody that comes and lives in the suburban can give you a whole leap of tea about the suburban life. Because trust me, the apple's not too far from the tree.
Is it just me, or does it seem like this whole I don't feel safe around black hood people, I don't trust black hood people as a black person, is this whole trend, I'm scared of hood black people, is it problematic to anybody else? Because not only is it reinforcing the false stereotype that's rooted in anti-blackness, that the hood is any more dangerous than any other neighborhood, when we know the crime rates between black people and white people are the same, if not white people having a little bit more. It presumes that hood is synonymous with black people, that crime is synonymous with black people, that danger is synonymous with black people. It's just, to me, it's giving coonery. It's giving Steven from Django. It's giving I as one of the good ones. And it's making the black people who are participating in this trend seem like, because I don't know, I'm not going to say that this is what everybody's doing, but it makes it seem like these particular black folk that are participating in this are trying to make themselves more palatable for the white folk, by making it seem like they share a common belief or common fear with the white folk. Now, everybody's got their own experiences, everybody's entitled to their opinions, I'm not speaking on that. But why are we so comfortable degrading our own race for the approval of another. I mean, there's severe anti-blackness that lives within the black community that definitely needs to be addressed. But we first gotta love ourselves. And that means that respectability politics has to die. We gotta stop worrying about what these white people think. We gotta stop worrying about, giving them more ammunition or to say, they're gonna say what they wanna say. They're going to think what they want to think until they dismantle the anti-blackness they have within themselves thanks to society and white supremacy culture. That's why people like me do what we do to try to help educate these white people so they can change that mentality. But us as black people need to be more worried about what's affecting us in the black community, not about making ourselves look palatable to them, look more acceptable than them hood Negroes over there. We need to start uplifting our community, uplifting each other, not talking down on and degrading for clicks and views and smiles and likes and laughs and approval of the white man. Are there problems in the black community? 1000%. And that's something to be discussed amongst the black community. But having an entire trend where you're saying, I, as a black American, am scared of hood Negroes like that, it's just giving very tap dancey. I don't know, maybe that's just me. If we want to talk about why there's high rates of crime in certain places, we can talk about poverty rates. We can talk about disenfranchisement. We can talk about lack of resources, lack of education, lack of opportunity. We could talk about marginalization. We can talk about gentrification. We could talk about all these things. But coming on the internet for a trend and talking down on a certain subgroup of people just to make yourself seem like you're one step up or something, it just seems very anti-black to me. Crime is not synonymous with black people. Hood is not synonymous with black people. Danger is not synonymous with black people. I worry more for my life being in a predominantly white neighborhood than I ever would being in a black hood. But that's just me. Because I know historically who has posed more of an actual threat to me physically. I know historically who in our history has proven to be the one that's more dangerous, to be the ones that are more physically violent, to be the ones that I should be scared of. And I'll give you a hint, it ain't black folk. But I don't know, that's just me. Y'all go on with y'all's little trend or whatever, I guess. It's just giving very anti-black. Get somebody else to do it.
As a black person, I'm afraid to admit that y'all have associated stereotypes with the community at large. I keep seeing this trend going around, and I'm telling you that the way y'all think of your own is the same way Massa would have thought of you. Why is it that you think of a hood person and you think of black people? Y'all have associated stereotypes with the community. It's embarrassing, it's weird, it's sad, and it proves that we don't think as highly of ourselves as we claim to think. Because everything negative that has been played on us as a group, y'all have instinctually thought of to be who we really are. And so now you following this trend. As a black person, I'm afraid to say, you should be afraid to say that you don't think highly of the group. You don't think highly of you. So I'll add this. As a black person, I'm afraid to say that a lot of us don't think positive thoughts when it comes to our own blackness. So much so that we can hop on a trend that associates negative shit with us as a community. I'm afraid to say that that's facts all day.
Where do y'all be at when y'all see these hood black people that y'all scared of? Like, where are you at? Like, are you in the hood? Because if you're in the hood and some shit goes down, of course you're afraid. Because you don't know how the hood operates. But why would you be in the hood if you scared of hood people and you know you're not from the hood, right? You speaking on hood behavior that you do not know anything about. Did they do something, or are you just looking at them? Then if you're in a suburban establishment, you feel like hood people came all the way from the hood to go to suburban establishments and cause havoc. They just want to get they $2 margaritas like you. Oh, so when you was growing up, somebody would like start problems with you because you looked at them funny? Did they do that? Do y'all ever go to the movie theaters and see a white guy with a briefcase? Like, would you be scared, or would you just be like, oh, that's a nice white guy that got off work? What y'all need to admit is that y'all are looking at people and stereotyping based off of what people look like. Because every time I see a white guy wearing a short sleeve button-up shirt with a tie and holding a briefcase, I think of Michael Douglas from Falling Down, and I get a little nervous. And then there are some people saying not all people from the hood are black. Great. So if there was a girl named Courtney who had box braids in, blonde box braids, and she was acting a fool, would you be scared of her, or would you laugh at her and just be like, girl, get out my face? Some of y'all need to just learn to say what y'all really are trying to say. Like, what are you scared of? Are you scared of somebody that did something to you or to somebody? Or are you scared of somebody that you just think is going to cause some danger based off of your own perceptions and what you believe when you look at people? Because there's people that are actually from the hood that are like afraid of certain kinds of people, but that's because they're a good judge of character after actually being in the hood. The people I'm really scared of are the ones that ain't from the hood, that act like they from the hood, and you can kind of tell because they ain't got nothing to lose because they got the money to bail themselves out.
Do you also find white spaces to be dangerous? So if you think the hood and being around black people is scary, all of those things, cool, all right, great. Do you also feel danger when you are around white people? Because I am scared. I'm not scared. I am nervous when I'm in all white neighborhoods. I think of Ahmaud Arbery. I think about Trayvon Martin. I think about black people just existing in white neighborhoods where we are deemed not supposed to be there, and the police being called on us. I stayed in this white neighborhood in Tacoma Park this summer. I was nervous. I was so nervous. There was all these like little free libraries, Black Lives Matter signs everywhere, gay flags, and that shit scared me. Nothing scarier than a liberal white person, especially when they feel a little bit of discomfort and knowing that I'm not normally there, walking my dog, all the eyes, people not being in the neighborhood. There was so much anxiety that I had that I would not have had that same anxiety if I was staying in a black neighborhood on a black street. I would have fit in a little bit more. I wouldn't be as noticeable. My presence as a black person, as a black queer person who wear a whole bunch of pink and look the way I do, stands out. And so if you're so afraid of the hood, are you also afraid of white spaces? Do you see and recognize dangers in white neighborhoods, in white suburbia, in white schools? White kids, they invented the mass school shootings. They're the ones who just, you was mean to them and they come back with whatever and just take it out on the whole school. Or do you only see danger when they're black people in black spaces? How many viral videos you gotta see of a black person being called the police on simply for existing in public in a place that a white person don't think they belong?
So this is all I got from this, and it's really it's really disgusting how people come out to, like, you know, to disgrace themselves. Because I don't see how an adult actually came out with this trend and saying that hood people scares them a lot. And some of them grew up in the hood. And it's really awesome how Keto is calling Port black, you know? Like, how did people come up with this? And I am just really kind of sick and tired of some certain things, you know, that you see some of us do on the internet. I don't know if it's for views or for click. I don't know what it's for. But I am really tired of seeing things like this, you know, people coming at one another because of just nothing, you know. Nobody actually hurt her. Nobody did anything to her. But she just, you know, wanted to also show us how probably living in suburbans, like, because what she's portraying and everything she's showing us is more like what palm-colored people tell us, you know. They are not even like, yeah, what palm-colored people tell us. They are afraid of their lives. They are scared of black people. Black people are this, black people are that. I mean, you always fit the description and all that, you know. So she also have that palm-colored mindset, right? And that really hurts because it's kind of crazy how people like, you know, are not facing their problems, but looking for a way to blame it on someone else. Because I do not think hood people are her problem. Hood people are not. And the fact that, I mean, hood people do not even look for your problems, except you go there and start, you want to tell them that you are not from the hood and all that. Like the story the young lady told about when she was 16, she probably left her suburban area to another school and trying to, like, you know, start afresh. And then she was also acting like somebody that came from suburban and was stopping other people from learning because they were doing them, right? But she was uncomfortable because she came from the suburban, right? and then making it hard to probably fit into their spaces and the rest of it. We all can do better. Stop promoting white supremacy mindset and all that. And the attention she's looking for, I hope she really gets it in, like, you know, in bunch. And then taking a swipe at black people saying that you probably from the hood and you are looking for somebody to help you out. I mean, the Europeans that will help. Like, really, a lot of people really have a lot of things they are thinking of. Some people aren't even thinking of looking for someone to bring them out from the hood or looking for someone to pay their bills and all that. Somebody just want to exist and exist in peace. So coming up with all these stories is just like you're trying to make all of them up just to make black people look bad or make it look like black people are threats to anybody's life and all that, because that is what they always make us feel. They are threatened by us, by our existence, by our, like, you know, we just living, you know. And she made mention of probably going to the store and people are laughing. You can imagine probably a group of people coming out and having conversations and laughing and talking. And then she probably feels like they are talking about you as how the president of United States or president daughter or president, you know, that really sucks. How people, like, you know, conclude over something that doesn't even, I don't know, but man, it's crazy. Really, from all her behavior, from everything she showed from the video and all that, it really shows the kind of person she is. And that is just who she is and nothing more. She does not have a good behavior. I mean, it stinks. And that really sucks. We can do better as people. We can do better as individuals as also, you know. And stop coming on internet to disgrace yourself, because you are disgracing yourself. Don't you think so? See you all in my next video. Bye for now.